I'm Van Thompson. This is my tiny home. The model is traditionally called a haven. We have deemed it the Van Haven, and so come on inside. This is the living room. I think probably the biggest feature in this room is the couch. It is L-shaped and helps kind of section between the living room and the dining room / kitchen area. What we have that is probably the coolest feature of the couch is that it actually pulls out into a bigger queen size, full bed. It's pretty long, but if anytime I have guests or anything like that, or Storm wants to get really lazy, lay all over the couch, she can definitely do that. If you could see up top, I have plenty of books, and there's some books behind you as well. I'm a very avid reader, and it took me about 6 months to get rid of everything in order to fit into this house, and the books were the one thing that I could not get rid of. So I have a mini library here up on the windows, as well as something that the neighborhood has kind of gotten into as of recently, is doing puzzles together. So I have a collection of puzzles as well that I've either done with residents here or ones that I'm going to be doing by myself at some point in time. This is also my work area. As you can see, I have a laptop set up. It pretty much doesn't move. I just sit on the Chase Lounge all day, and I've got 3 screens. This thing has been a lifesaver. Actually, quite a few people in the tiny home community have an attachment of some sort like this, so they don't have big full office space. I work from here. This is my colleague. She doesn't get a lot of work done, but you know, she's here for the entertainment. So this is our entertainment system. Something that really drew me to this house was how much storage space that it had. I initially thought I was not going to be able to get rid of enough stuff when I was moving in here, so I needed something that had a lot of storage space. I'd be lying to you if I said these things weren't full of all sorts of things, but when I first started out, we only used probably about half the storage space for this. So I had a really great area for a big TV. I'm also a gamer and I stream, so I've got like all the gaming stuff. I have all my unread books here that eventually go into my library once they've been read. Also, I'm big into games. This community, even though we don't have a lot of hosting space inside, we love to play games. So whether it's on the TV or board games, we figure out a way to do it inside, outside. Just some trophies and stuff from work, but this was one of the only models as well that had an entertainment already pre-built into it, and so that was another feature that really attracted me to this house. So that is my entertainment system. This is my kitchen. We have full-size appliances on everything except the washer, which is usually just me and my boyfriend, so there's not really a lot of dishes to be done. I have a farm style sink, which is something that I added in. You can get just traditional sinks, but I really love the open wideness of it, and I really liked the way that I can pull out the faucet, I guess, and kind of move it and wash my dishes and things like that. There's a lot of cabinet space all throughout. Full-size stove, full-size oven. We have a really big nice vent hood that goes out, so when we're cooking all sorts of things or when I burn stuff inevitably, it doesn't smoke up the house. So we also have a full-size fridge, which is really great. Mine came with a water dispenser, which was really nice. It's filtered. I really liked that feature, and that came stock in the house. We do have some open some storage up top. The countertops that I have are quartz. They're white quartz. Originally they come with like a gray granite. Unfortunately, the makers of this particular home no longer do the gray granite countertop, so I went with a white quartz. It just gives, for me personally, a cleaner feel. I know white is sometimes hard to clean and things like that, but it's actually been really easy to clean. It feels a lot cleaner, it's nicer, it feels a lot more open, and so that's a concept that I went with this. And we have a nice kitchen window. Unfortunately, it looks out to the neighbor, so I see right into the neighbor, so when they're doing dishes and I'm simultaneously doing dishes, we can wave at each other, but maybe in another space when you have land somewhere else, you can look out and see the beautiful green pastures or whatever it is that you're with. So otherwise, actually a lot of countertop space for cooking, and yeah, that's my countertops. So there was a few reasons to go tiny. I think probably the evolution of my thought process was I don't know, I guess I had been kind of I've been raised with this narrative that as I'm getting older, the better I'm doing with work, that I need to get bigger. Like bigger was better. I needed to get a house, and then I needed to get a bigger house, and then it was just a lot. And I was finding myself finally in a position, was like, hey, okay, I think I'm ready to move out of the apartment lifestyle, and being in the Austin area, the housing market is crazy right now, and I couldn't really find anything that was suitable for me, but also in my price range. And I was just stressing myself out trying to find something, and I'm like, why am I trying to buy a big house when it's just myself? Like I'm gonna have to fill it up with stuff that doesn't make sense. And then it was really overwhelming. On top of that too, I've always been attracted to the nomad lifestyle. I really actually wanted to live in an RV or have like a schoolie, kind of convert a school bus and then just go travel the world. But at the time that I was considering all this, I didn't have a job that allowed me to kind of go wherever I pleased and work remotely. And so I told myself, I was like, you know what? More isn't necessarily better. I'm kind of of the mindset less is more, and I'm not going to really be able to move right now in the way that I want to as far as traveling is concerned. So why don't I just condense and get something a little bit smaller that fits mine and my dog's needs, and we can go from there. I just had a 2-bedroom apartment, but moving from a 2-bedroom apartment that was probably 3 times the size of this, or even a little bit more, was actually really liberating. It took me, I think, 4 to 6 months to get rid of stuff. I was getting rid of it slowly, but God, I got rid of so much stuff that is like completely unnecessary, and even find myself here now thinking, oh, I don't need this, like I don't need that. So it was really liberating process. So yeah, that's kind of why I went tiny. Financial reasons, and like kind of the less is more aspect of it was really what really sold me. So. This is my dining room. I saw in the Haven model that I walked through a very similar setup with a bar-sized table, bar stools that allowed people to eat without, taking up too much space. So that's kind of the concept that I went with. Surprisingly, we don't actually use this bar table much at all. I have a secondary computer that I use for school. Sometimes I'll stand up here and utilize that, but this inevitably becomes like a bill stack pile of things that are not really necessary. What inevitably happens is we take these bar stools here and we go sit ourselves right down on the couch, and we use these bar stools like dinner trays, and we just put our plate on top of the bar stool and we eat right in front of the TV. So that is the most common way that we eat. But yeah, most of the time it's just like homework and bills stuff splayed everywhere, and it's just a nonsensical mess. So otherwise, beautiful window straight out into my neighbor's house. So I inevitably am accidentally spying on my neighbor most of the day, but otherwise this is my dining room. This is my bar section. It has been recently reorganized. Used to drink. I'm about to celebrate 1 year of not drinking, so while I do have some cocktail stuff underneath the cabinets, we mainly utilize this for pantry stuff. Got some cocktail mixers, things like that, but otherwise I just have some coasters. Actually, I'm a really big fan of local art, so all the artwork that I have in this house is done from somebody or by somebody in the Austin region. So this is an Austin photographer who did this, and I have my most newest piece I don't even have framed yet, actually from an art exhibit that happened at this community in the farmhouse. I picked one up. So otherwise, this is just really great space for putting in artwork. I got a nice clock. I don't know if you can see up here, but there's an electrical mini split. That's how all of these tiny homes in particular are air conditioned and heated. We've got 2 of them, one in the main air living space and then one in the bedroom as well. And those things rock. Those things, like, really kick out some cool air. I'm wearing a hoodie most days, even in the summer, because they don't quit. This is probably the single most place where I had to get really creative as far as storage is concerned. There wasn't too much storage space as far as cabinetry is concerned, but something that was a cool additive that I didn't even realize I was getting until I got the house was, initially when I saw this particular model, there was not a shelf above the toilet. It just came sink and then that was it. So that was something that was kind of a nice surprise, that I can put certain things, maybe if I'm doing makeup or doing my hair and it's starting to get a mess around the cabinet or around the counter. It also has white quartz. I pretty much match that throughout the house. Inside the shower is fully white quartz as well. When we're talking about creativity, there wasn't really a place for me to put my towels, and so I found some towel racks to use. I also pretty much purchase everything based off of subscription. I'm a big subscription model person. A lot of the things in my house are reusable, recycled at some point in time, or they're all compostable. So I get like 24 of these bad boys at a time, and I just stack them here. They come from a subscription that uses bamboo instead. All of my teeth cleaning, hygiene products, everything comes from subscription. I can compost my toothbrush and my toothpaste and all other crazy things. Had to put racks onto my bathroom walls because I don't have any place for appliances, so that's something to think about. Something that I wish I would have maybe done differently is the lighting in this bathroom. If you're a girl and you like to put on makeup, you want to make sure your face looks good, the lighting in here isn't made for that, so I would have either maybe done something with the mirror and had some like fluorescent type lighting, or gotten different light bulbish things to make it work. The shower is really great. I think they say it fits 1.5 people, but we can fit more than that. It's been tested. It has a sunflower, I believe is what it's called, rain head faucet, which isn't standard, but something that I wanted because I liked the area space that the water fell from. As I mentioned before, white granite countertops. Has enough room for me to put a rack to put all my shampoo and all things like that. But otherwise, it's been a great bathroom. This is my washer and dryer. They're full-size stackable. Washer, dryer actually came with the unit, so that was really great. Some units have a 2-in-1. I was lucky enough to get one of each, and they work wonders. Because we live in such a small area space, I had to get rid of probably 80 to 90% of most of my clothes, so we actually do a lot of laundry because we're wearing the same things over and over and over again. We have some storage space up here. I've seen it used in all different types of ways. I just use it for my laundry baskets. Generally, if I have dirty clothes, I just throw it up there and it stays in there until I need to bring it down and actually wash clothes. Otherwise, sometimes there's additional computers. My boyfriend is a gamer too, and he'll throw his computers up there right next to it. But otherwise, that is my washer and dryer. So I'm actually in cybersecurity. When I initially bought this house, I mean, I've pretty much always been in technology, but I worked for a reseller. That was the job that kind of kept me restrained from being able to go and kind of live the full travel lifestyle that I wanted. Now that I'm in cybersecurity, I get to work remote. So like I said, I work here all day, and if we want to go travel, we can definitely do that. So we've gotten a lot of travel in just the last year that I've been in cybersecurity. As far as side hustling is concerned, we actually just closed on a second tiny home last Friday, and we have now officially started Airbnb-ing it. So we have an Airbnb as well, kind of just, I mean, they're really niche, and right now they're really booming and everybody loves them. And we housed the family of the DJ who was playing the silent disco at ACL this past weekend, so we're really excited about that. I don't really have any other like hobbies or side hustles. I'm going to school for Spanish translation certification, American Sign Language certification. We actually have some deaf community present here at the tiny home community, so that's been really cool to be able to embrace that culture. But otherwise, that's kind of me in a nutshell. This is my lovely bedroom. This is a place where you have to get creative with all of your belongings as well. I really did a lot of research when it came to the furnishings and what I was going to do with most of my clothes. Something that you probably can't see right now, but this bed also has 4 drawers underneath it that slide in and out. It is where pretty much all of my clothes go. I do have a closet, but that for more fancier things, dresses, nice clothes, outfits, things of that nature. And the bar stools that you saw in the dining room, we have 2 more that are actually multi-purposed as side tables because lo and behold, I couldn't fit all 4 underneath the dining table and we needed some type of side table, so they inevitably went there and were put to good use from that standpoint. The windows here had to be tinted as well. It's not very fun when you're trying to sleep in on the weekend and the sun is like shining right in your face. Something that like I mentioned before, I would probably change is had them pre-tinted. We had to mount the TV. Luckily we had really nice neighbors to help us put this 500-pound TV up onto the wall. We added some things like key holders. There's some art on the wall from local artists. We have a mini split behind you guys as well, just the same as in the kitchen. This is my closet. It's actually pretty big for what in my opinion, what I thought I was going to get out of a tiny home. Something that I might have done a little bit differently is the closet goes all the way to the end of this wall, but it's kind of hard to get into that back space with just this one sliding door. Something that I saw that I wish I would have thought of before I got the house is they had basically 2 sliding doors that you could slide one way or the other so that you can reach both sides of the closet in any way that you needed. For ladies or men who like shoes, just like books, shoes are really hard for me to get rid of, but there was just not enough floor space for the shoes. So inevitably what I did is, and I don't know if you can see, but there are basically shoe holders all the way up the wall, and I think I have something close to like 30 or 40 pairs up this wall to hold. I also have a bench on this side. It's got tons of shoes underneath it as well. So other than that, it has some storage up top for all sorts of things. I got my motorcycle helmet up here, all of my like sports equipment, all that good stuff. But overall, it's a pretty decent sized closet for what you're getting for a tiny home space. This is the back porch. I originally envisioned this place to be kind of, you could see that it's got private boards on here. I wanted it to be kind of like a hangout space, a chill space. It unfortunately wasn't as big as I had envisioned in my mind it was going to be, and it inevitably became a storage space essentially. We have a ton of like outdoor games that we play. We have a storage unit. I think the majority of the tiny homes here at this particular community, their back porches are all some version of storage. We do a lot of composting, planting, things like that. So I've got all my like planting, composting stuff out here. I had this really beautiful like oldie timey chest that I didn't want to get rid of. It's sitting out here and now it's being stacked with a bunch of BS, but this is a great space for all your storage if you guys need anything that might be too big to fit underneath your bed or in a cabinet or something. We have that. This is my front porch. I had to get really creative as far as the furnishing was concerned. I couldn't really find anything. Granted, I moved in right during the pandemic. Everybody was trying to buy furniture and everybody was trying to get stuff because inevitably they were staying in their house more. But I couldn't find something that fit the exact dimensions that I had, so I ended up buying 4 separate corner pieces of like a whole set of furniture and just putting them together. But it ends up working out because I have French doors. It might take me a second to open this one, but when we have things like game night and we have more than just 3 or 4 people, we can open this up and actually move the chairs kind of right where the camera's sitting to face inside and have a ton more room for that. But this is probably one of my favorite things when it feels really pretty outside or really good outside like it does today. I'll either be outside here on my front porch doing work, or I will open up the French doors and just let the breeze in and cut the AC. So otherwise, you can't see it, but we put a fence right at the entryway. So my pup, when she wants to come out and hang out, and we don't want her to bother people walking by, we'll just close the gate and so she can see and say hi to everybody. We have one singular serrano pepper. Everybody plants except us, and we have a serrano plant hanging out over here, but otherwise everything's weatherproof, and this is my porch. Probably the biggest thing that I've learned from all of this is there are a lot of naysayers out there. This whole society is like really built on like more and like consumerism and continuing to like find your happiness in things, and I have to say that I really found myself and my happiness in letting go of all of that. So like more isn't necessarily better, and when you hear people tell you like if you want to make a jump to tiny living or going into schoolie or an RV and people are like, you're crazy, like why would you ever do that? Like don't listen to them, because this has been one of the most fun adventures and most liberating things that I've ever done. So don't be afraid to take the chance and just do it. So, and that's this is the Van Haven, and yeah, we'll see you later. Get out of my house.